Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to episode 9 of Chirping on Causeway. 9, 8, some number, an episode. We're here. We are brought to you by Boston Sports Entertainment Network. You can find our network at BSEN_617 on Twitter and on Instagram. You can find the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Causeway Chirps. My name is Emily. You can find me at HyperEmi on whatever social media until TikTok is or is not in existence in a week. Who knows about that shenanigans? And
my name is Liv, and you can find me at Frederick on Twitter.
Yeah, we've had a week, man.
Yeah.
We have had a week. So let's just review like predictions. Let's review where we left off last week. We had 3 games between last Monday and today. Mm-hmm. We had the Oilers on Tuesday. We had Tampa Bay on Thursday. We had the Panthers on Saturday. Liv had said we would win 5-2 against the Oilers. I said it was going to be a loss, but it was not going to be a shutout. We both said win for Tampa Bay. We both said win for Florida. And I had this crazy prediction that you all, like, some of you nailed me for this. I predicted that Mason was going to have a goal last week. He hadn't had a goal yet. He had 15 assists when I made this prediction. No goal yet. And I posted about it. I posted it on my story. Mason saw it on my story. I originally predicted that it would happen Tuesday. And then later in the pod, I also said that it would happen like last week. I told you so! All of you, in your face!
I do think, though, it was his second, no? I think it was his second of the year.
First recorded.
Really? I could have sworn it was his second.
I don't know. According to the statistics. Now I'm checking.
NHL app thingy. I feel like it was at home. I feel like I was.
That was his second. Oh, well, it's okay. I'm still claiming it. In everybody's face. He saw it on my story. He saw both my stories. Liv had screenshots from me of it. But he had some good looks in the few games leading up to that. And it was like just waiting for him to break the barrier. So he scored in Tampa. He was our only goal against Tampa, which was great. The rest of our predictions were like, no. We got shut out by the Oilers at home. We lost Tampa Bay. We didn't beat Florida. We almost didn't beat Florida. We almost did beat Florida, and then we almost didn't beat Florida, and then we beat Florida.
Yeah.
So
my mom knew we were going to win. That day she woke up and she was like, we're winning today when we played Florida. So shout out.
I didn't watch Thursday's game or that game yet, so I'm still behind on life, but
it's a good one. Well, not like I say it was a good one simply because we won, but like game as a whole, we could pick that apart. But
I also jinxed myself because I don't know if I said on our pod last week or something Bruin, I said that I never get blacked out for games, and then I got blacked out for the Tampa Bruins game, which has never happened since living here. I don't live in Tampa. I live 6 hours away.
Huh.
And I got blacked out. It's like it knew. I also it's like through ESPN. I watch it on ESPN Plus. So I have Bruins saved as like a favorite team. Right. I don't know if like that plays into it because it's like a favorited. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I never know how that works. Why sometimes it's a blackout, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't get it.
Weird. All right, let's start with the Oilers game. Let's just get right into the games because these games were all over the place. Yeah. This Oilers game was painful. This was our 5th in the loss streak. We ended up with a 6-game loss streak before we went to Florida and won in Florida. This was at home. We It was just bad. It was bad. Oilers had 39 shots on goal. We had 26. They had 18 hits. We had 45. And still, like, nothing. They had 3 penalties. We had 4. Our face-off percentage was 42.6%. And then we had the Freddie Perry fight between Trent Frederick and Corey Perry.
Sure did.
And it was great.
5 out of 10.
It was. I'm here for any fight. He fought a lot last week. But Liv, what were like big takeaways you had from that game? Because there was nothing happening.
I feel like everyone is we're all a broken record. We just keep seeing the same mistakes and the same issues over and over again, but nothing's changing. Specifically, the lines and the power play units, if you don't change those. And I know we all complained that the lines were getting shifted too much when Monty was still here.
Well, the power play got changed before this game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but like, I want to see real changes, not just like shifting a guy or like 2 guys from one or the other. Because I think there's some guys that are completely not effective on either power play unit. So why are we still keeping them there? Yeah. So that's what I have to say about that. Same goes for the lines. I'd like to see them changed more than even that. I don't think those have been touched until today when they put Braz to the 4th line and put Letary on the 3rd. Don't even know if I agree with that. Fine with the call-up, I guess. It could have been like Riley Tufte again or something, no offense, but I'm glad.
Yeah, but Letary's been good down in Providence.
Yeah, that's why I'm fine with it. We'll see. Like, I don't know.
We'll have a lot of feelings about it, but the negative things I've seen are from people that follow the Boston Bruins. The people that are reporters for the Providence Bruins have been saying that they think this is the right call up right now.
Yeah. I'm just hoping it's not like, how when we called up McLaughlin, he was kind of hot, like on a hot streak down there.
Yeah.
Per usual, how it doesn't translate most of the time in our cases.
Yeah.
It did that and it didn't really translate over. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Letary, but I'll be curious to see if I'll also just be curious to see if that 3rd line stays the whole game with Wahlstrom, Freddie, and Letary. But
I do wish they would call up a center instead of continually calling up wings. Right. I would really like to get him off of the center.
And I do think I noticed in the Florida game, because I was there at Sunrise, I noticed firsthand that our face-offs are just like, particularly that game, it was a big
our face-off percentage was 43.1% at that game. We were 55.7 in Tampa Bay.
The guy there were like 3 guys that was next to my mom and I, and we were just saying the same thing. We were like, have we won one face-off tonight? It seemed like ridiculous. So I'd like to see our center situation figured out, and the solution is not what centers we have right now. That's all I'll say.
No, I agree. I think there's definitely some shifting that still needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know at what point. Well, never mind. We all know it's not going to change.
Right. Not anytime soon.
This was January 7th. So this would have been last game. Yeah. So power plays for that game. So it must have been that we changed it more after this game, because Mason was on power play 1 for Tampa. But for this game, the first was still the same. So it was McAvoy, Pasta, Marchi, Lindholm, Zaka. Power play 2 was Lowry, Wallstrom, Geeky, Coyle, and Braz. So they had stayed the same for that game. But yeah, that game was. And then we had Mom's Weekend. We had the Geeky Bowl. And we had the 6th loss of our streak, all the same night in Tampa Bay. So for those of you who don't know, Morgan Geeky's younger brother, Connor, plays for Tampa Bay. He used to play for the Coyotes last season. I only know that because he was in the AHL on the Roadrunners. Y'all know how I love the Roadrunners. It was their first time playing against each other, which was really cool. It was also the first day of Mom's Weekend, which seemed like so much fun. All of the content on social from Mom's Weekend has been absolutely insane. It looks like they had a great time. Anytime that Mama Marchi wants to impersonate her son, I'm here for it. I think it's great. Mason scored this night. He was our only scorer of the game. We lost 4-1. And the ending of this game was absolutely insane. But this was also the game that we shook up the power plays. So we went power play 1 was Mason, Pasta, Geeky, Zaka, and Braz. And then power play 2, McAvoy, Wallstrom, Marchi, Lindy, and Coyle. But the way this game ended, Liv, was actually insane. Also, we had like the world's most random call in the middle of the game with a Zaka embellishment call when he was.
That could get me going alone. That was the most ridiculous call, especially of all players on our team, to be honest. No.
And like when you watch the way he turns and like the way his blade gets caught on the stick, there was no way to embellish that. Bro's going down. Like,
well, and two, I think honestly that because the way he was, I think he was gonna dive anyways with his stick to try and stop the puck. So I think, not to defend a Tampa player, but I feel like Zaka was jumping anyways too.
Yeah.
And I just think that was just a silly call. I don't remember what point of the game it was at, so I don't remember what
it was like in the middle.
It was just silly. Yeah.
And it only went downhill from there.
Yeah.
We had a pretty nasty end the game. So Catholic essentially got cross-checked to the face and reacted to it. He literally like is going to check the guy. Bro just like pushes his stick right into his face and he reacts. I think we all know that by now that's what he's going to do. He reacts and he essentially fights him. And he gets called on the fight. And there's not a lot of time left in the game. I don't remember. It's like maybe 2 minutes or something left in the game.
Yes.
And then we get a call on Braz for roughing with like, it's just, we're already losing 4-1. Somebody's got cross-checked in the face and we're going to get punished for it.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
I would have liked to see, because I think when Braz got called, there was like 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
And I wish they would do more how they do it in football, where they just, if there's a few seconds left and the team is going to win, then just end it.
Yeah.
It's just going to get messy like how it did at the end. And I think that's, look, I love feistiness in hockey. But when it's with seconds left, I think that's the dumbest thing to do. Because really, you're going to just, the game is going to be over. You're going to just go back into the locker room and now you're just angry. And who knows when you're going to see this team again. Granted, the Bruins do know they're playing them tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, yeah.
However, I just think it's silly because then things like Causeway, he's now day-to-day because when he went down, his head like completely – I think his head not only hit the ice, but I do think the guy – whether it was intentional or not, I have no idea. I didn't watch it that closely. I don't know if his arm also hit Catholick's head, so he kind of got like a double kind of hit there. But I just think you're taking that risk when you fight with that little time left because now who knows what, how long he'll be out. So
yeah, I was at an SPHL game yesterday, and they stopped the clock with 0.5 seconds left. And then they set up and take a face-off with 0.5 seconds left. And it was chippy because it's kind of the same in SPHL as it is in AHL. Like, you play that team for the weekend. This was their third game against this team. And by that time, like, tempers are whew. So there's 0.5 seconds left. Somebody had already left the game for an injury. They were on a penalty kill. Tried to make a shorthanded goal. It got chippy. There's 0.5 seconds left, and we're really setting up for a final face-off. Like, shit. Let's go home.
You know what's going to happen. The refs know. They've been around enough. Especially with certain teams, you know how they are.
For sure. I think the other injury that's not being talked about is Charlie McAvoy has had his wrist wrapped up anytime we see him.
Yeah.
And nobody's talking about it. But he's literally getting off the plane in Florida, and it looks like a cast on his right wrist.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm gonna pretend it's not happening.
I know. I don't know what is up with that. I wish we could remember or go back and look at when he first had it all wrapped and stuff. So I wonder how long he's been dealing with this. And again, it's January. If you're hurt, please just take a break. I'll say that every time to everyone.
Literally.
Just take a break before playoffs. I mean, God willing, we make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and be optimistic.
Yes.
Why not deal with an injury when you fully have so much time? Which is not a knock at them. It's just take care of yourself.
And I think it's like, I know we talk about this all the time, and I will continue to talk about it all the time because this is a game. I understand it's their jobs, but guys, this is their lives. Like, it's insane to me the reactions that people have to players being injured. And like the fact that we /teams /players don't feel safe talking about their injuries because of fan reactions, and they feel like it's not safe to talk about what's going on with them because they know that people are going to like weaponize it or like call them wimps, worse names than wimps, but essentially wimps for not wanting to play because they're injured. It's not worth it. It's a game. Like, if I get injured at my job, 1, yes, workers' comp is covering it. 2, my job is telling me to take time off. This is their job. They have more important things in their lives. She says that she lives and breathes and her happiness relies on a hockey team. I'm aware. I'm in denial. It's fine. But this game was our 6th in our loss streak. God bless it being the last in this loss streak. It also knocked us down in the standings, which I think for the most part we knew was going to happen. The Lightning had been right behind us, but they have played 5 games less than we have, and they were right behind us. So we all knew that this moment of like dropping in the standings was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. And now We are tied with the Lightning, but technically they're still ahead of us because they've played less games than we have.
Yeah.
Which means everything from now on is a must-win game.
Yeah. I want to think, I know I'm not the only one either. This win against Florida kind of gave me a second wind or whatever they say.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can really, and I feel like we've said this a couple times throughout the season, but this one really, I think, even though it wasn't the prettiest win, got a little nerve-wracking there at the end, got a little risky. I do think they could take a lot from this win and turn as much of this season around as they can.
Yeah.
I would like to think, but
yeah. Well, let's talk about the Florida game. So we won in overtime. It was the last game of Mom's weekend, and we started the game off strong. Geeky had a goal on a power play in the first period. We ended that period tied, though, because they also got a power play goal. We came into the second period and scores towards the end of the period. We start the third period and they score 43 seconds into the period. Reinhart scores. And then Oliver Wahlstrom gets his first goal as a Bruin, which was really exciting. Very cool. And with 1.8 seconds left, Reinhart scores again and ties it.
I got nervous there, not gonna lie.
I was working during this game, and it had been a busy day, so I hadn't watched any of it, and it was dead during overtime, so I watched overtime, and that's all I've watched so far of this game. So all I saw was overtime, and I'm literally sitting there like this the entire time, and I'm like watching the door to make sure nobody comes in like while I'm watching the game. We score with 1.2 seconds. They scored with 1.8 seconds left in the game. We scored with 1.2 seconds left in overtime to win it. And Pasta claims it.
You know what the best part is, though? And I don't know if he planned this or not, but Pasta scored off Reinhart.
Oh my God. No, if you watch the replay, it looks like he's going to pass, and Reinhart just like must have misjudged where that puck was going to go and just like knocks it. Just the way his body moved at the same time as the puck. Oh, you could see like the path of where he wanted it to go. But God. Yeah. And you like the Panthers just knew. The Panthers like knew as soon as that touch happened, they all just were like,
yeah, so that was great. That was great to see, because that would have been our first shootout of the season. So that would have been a little bit.
I was ready for it, honestly.
I do think Sway would have held it down. I do think, because he has said in the past, I'm pretty sure, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but he said he loves shootouts.
Yeah.
That's just insane, but.
Well, he was a rock star that night.
He was great that game.
So we only had 18 shots on goal. They had 43 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Block shots. Boston was 29 block shots. They had 9 block shots. We had 42 hits. They had 30 hits. We had a 43.1 face-off percentage. We had like I don't know. I didn't watch this fight yet, but Freddie and AJ Greer fought.
They did. So they didn't even, and I'm mad about this actually, because what happened was AJ was just
former Bruin AJ Greer.
Of course, if I don't know who could forget him, the famous Twitch streamer, beatmaker. But he first went at McAvoy. Mason came over for love the energy Mason, but like not with Greer. But he came over, tried to get him away from McAvoy. He did, but then Greer dropped his gloves and wanted to fight Mason, and Mason wanted no part of that, naturally. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So then Freddie had to come over And Greer still had his gloves off at that point, so Freddie eventually dropped one of his, but the refs were like, no, not having it. So I really don't understand that because they could have gone. They both were willing. I hate that is my biggest pet peeve for any team. Like any time in the league, there has to be some real reason for them not to like let a fight go. And I understand why they don't want fights as much. I do get it. However, I would like to see the fight. So they could let them go more.
She says, I need to know what it is.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely a weird week.
Yeah.
That game I'm gonna watch tomorrow because I'm like, I need to see how that one went. Just based off of like everybody's tweets this year on Saturday. It was also an afternoon game. Was that our first afternoon Saturday win? I actually haven't checked that yet.
Let me look. I feel like we've won. Let's see here. Let me go back to October.
We don't have great luck with matinees. We also have a matinee.
I'm not sure how to tell what time it started.
Oh, I don't remember how to do that.
So who knows?
We will look, or somebody can let us know. Yeah. Oh,
my mom will Google it. My mom's probably Googling it right now, actually.
That's funny. So yeah, that finally snapped our loss streak. I'm really hoping it continues. I don't know. We'll see. And then this morning we got the call up that we talked a little bit about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Vinny Lettieri will be coming up. Mark McLaughlin is going back to Providence.
Yeah.
I'm sad about that part, but that's okay. And I am interested to see how this goes. Lettieri has played 35 games this season with the Providence Bruins. I don't know why that was hard for me to say, but it was. He has 35 points so far. So he has 14 goals, 21 assists, 12 penalty minutes. I'm excited. He's neutral, no plus minus. So I think that'll be good. Like we talked about earlier, I wished we had brought up, he's listed as a center, but he's playing wing. Again, I'll never understand this.
Because they don't want to move Trent from the center for whatever sick and twisted reason. I'd love to know. I do know, but it's whatever. They just.
This is his first season in Providence. I didn't realize that. Oh, no, wait. This is his second season in Providence. He went away for a year.
And we got him back from Minnesota, I think. Because fun fact, actually, Jacob Lauko is living in what was once Vinny Lettieri's apartment in Minnesota.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, he's played for Wolfpack, which is the Rangers. San Diego Gulls, which is Ducks.
Let me look.
And then us, Wild Us.
Yeah, Ducks.
Ducks, yeah.
Team.
I'll be interested to see how this goes. I think one thing we've said a lot, and I think Liv said this earlier, is we've called up a lot of guys this season. There hasn't been a lot of transference of skills.
Yeah.
He's been playing with Maddie, and who's the third that's been on their line?
Mm-hmm.
I tweeted this earlier.
I don't even want to take a guess because I know I'd be wrong. Sorry, Providence.
You've been playing with. I've tweeted a lot of things today. Oh, Merc.
Oh, that's who's on their line?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that. But again, why not just call him up? He's sitting there.
Well, he's already been up. I think that's part of this is they're trying different guys. I think Merck did great when he was up. He was also on the power play unit, and I think he did really well.
Yeah, I think we should have given him another.
Called up the same guy twice.
Yeah.
Other than Riley Tufte. But they hadn't necessarily called him up. They just sent him down and then called him up, which didn't translate well. He still doing great in Providence. Max Jones still doing great in Providence. But we're seeing a lot of this non-transference of skills when they get called up, which sucks. We're also seeing that Providence is also going through this up and down thing that we're going through.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you're asking me, if anybody were to ask me what that means, I would say that that's potentially an organizational issue that potentially is higher up than just the players and the coaches themselves. If both your AHL and your NHL teams are having this roller coaster effect happening, I would personally say that it's more than just the players and the coaches. But nobody's asking me, and I'm not going to give my opinion. I'm also not an expert. I'm just a girl with a podcast.
Right. That should be our hashtag.
Just a girl with a podcast.
That'll be our next shirt. Just a girl with a podcast.
I was going to look up standings for the AHL. Let's see. The AHL currently, we are in 4th in the Atlantic. Hershey, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Charlotte, and then us.
So basically, we're both 4th.
Yep.
In the Atlantic, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Are technically tied. Boston Bruins are technically tied for 3rd, but they're not really tied for 3rd. Let's be honest.
Right.
Oof.
Ottawa's right there too.
Guys, let's talk about the rest of this week because
Do we have game predictions to do?
Yeah, we do. We got 3 games this week because our schedule is real wonky. We've got 7 o'clock against Tampa Bay tomorrow, 3 o'clock on Saturday against Ottawa, and 1 o'clock on Monday against San Jose.
So question for you too. Do we think we want to record on Monday after the game, or do we want to wait until Tuesday?
I think we do Monday after the game.
Yeah, and do it a little, then it could be a fresh recap for.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So tomorrow versus Tampa. It's at home. We just lost to them 4-1 in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Their record this season, they are 23-15-3. Like we said, they're 3rd in the Atlantic.
I'd love to see us beat them. A solid, win. Even, I'll go 3-2, even. Keep it close.
I am so torn because I would love to say win, but I think we're going to lose.
Got to be optimistic. That's what I'm trying to be.
Here's the situation. We hate playing against these teams that are must-win games. But I say that, but we're worse against teams that we should just beat without issue.
Right. And I do think when we play a team close like that, and if we lose the first one, I feel like we have typically won the second one, though.
You're right. We don't, if we play the same team within a week, we typically don't.
Yeah.
Well, we did against Panthers, but that was at the beginning of the season.
We did against Columbus, I believe, too, at one point. Like, we were there and we lost.
It'd be really great if our team was just better. Somebody bring back the 2022-23 Bruins.
That'd be nice.
Calling 2022-23 Bruins, please report to Boston. Thank you.
A little time machine really quickly.
You can have a 1-day contract.
Yeah, right.
Multiple 1-day contracts
in a row.
No, I'm still going with a loss. I can't do it.
Really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be, though? Like,
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be closer than the 4-1. I think it's going to be like 1-2, 3-2. It's going to be close. Okay. But I think they've had like a different kind of fight against Tampa Bay than they have had against Florida. Like Florida, I feel like they had to win because they've lost against them twice already this season. All of the history with that team. I think we haven't talked about this, and I don't really want to give this guy any more notice than he's gotten. So whatever. Basically, a reporter the other day just went on air, said that Pasta's the reason we're losing. He's causing issues in the locker room, and he's asked to not be on the same line as Marchie. I think this statement in general was absolutely ridiculous. I think it was dumb. Whatever. I think then whatever. Marchie responds, Pasta responds. They're basically like, this is all BS. Marchie is feisty. He's pissed. Pasta's like laughing it off. I think that's characteristic for both of them personally. That radio guy then went on Twitter and was like, oh yeah, he's defensive because he knows it's true. I think that's not true. I think we've seen in multiple situations that if you mess with this team, if you mess with Marchie's friends, like that's just who he is. He's going to get pissed. He's going to get feisty. He does not like when the media messes with people. He was also a little bit like this earlier in the year when Spit and Chicklets had come out and said that like there was potentially contract extension, maybe not a contract extension. There was issues with contract negotiations. He was also feisty about that, and we have heard nothing about any of that since then. So you also had that feeding into this Panthers game a little bit as well of like, now these guys have to prove themselves. And I hate giving that radio host any credit at all because I think that story was absolute crap. But I think there were a lot of different things that played into that Panthers game that I don't think play in with Tampa as much.
This is what I think too, that will play into the Tampa one is the Kaslik injury, though. I think they'll want to.
Yeah. That's true.
I would butcher his name, the guy that got into the fight with. Because also I want to say it's Liljegren, but I know that he's a Panther. Like yeah. I know that's not correct, but I'm pretty sure it started with an L. But so I think they'll want to be a bit more feisty simply because of that. Like mainly, I mean, guys, Zadorov, or I'd love to see.
We haven't had a good Z fight in a while. I'll take a Z fight.
Right. So as long as he's not taking some silly penalties, then whatever. But I'd like to see him.
He's taking so many dumb penalties this week.
But
Sully's got a 4-3 overtime win for tomorrow.
To the comment. I could see that too. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it.
See, but I'm not because then the Lightning get a point.
That's all right, because then we still get 2. I don't even care at this point. I just want us to have 2, whatever it takes. I don't care.
But from this point on, every point we and they have is going to count. So if they go into OT, then they're still only 1 point behind us at the end of the game. Like if we win, we have 2 versus their 0 for 1 day. Again, they're still 5 games behind us. Like, right. I think every point is going to count. So I wouldn't be upset with an OT win, but I'd rather not.
Right.
Unless we lose, then yeah, give me the OT point.
Right.
I'll take my loss in OT. I'll switch you an OT loss.
No.
I'm still keeping the loss part. I don't think we're going to win tomorrow. Saturday, 3:00 in Ottawa.
Is Allmark still out? Do we know? Is he still out with his day-to-day?
These guys need to stop getting injured. It's really inconvenient. He's not listed.
So he's not injured? Okay. Or what? Who is their other goalie? He's young. I know that much.
They also have.
That Marilainen.
Forsberg and a guy from Finland.
Yeah, he's a bit younger.
Marilainen.
Yeah.
I also saw this other TikTok about this other girl, this other podcast that's also two girls, and I don't remember who it was now, but they were doing We Listen and We Don't Judge as like female hockey podcast.
Oh gosh.
Podcasters. And she was like, sometimes I skip over people's names so I don't mispronounce them. And I was like, same girl, same. Whenever I can, same.
I like wish I try to say them because I want to like try and I don't know. I
need all these sports websites to add like a pronunciation key. Like, listen, I'm a fantasy reader. Call me a nerd, whatever. But my favorite books have a pronunciation guide in the beginning so that I know how to say their names in my little brain space when I'm reading the books. I need that. Do
you remember what they did in the Olympics? They had each athlete say their name, so they had the pronunciation, and then they had them pronounce it. Like they were like, okay, do it once, and then a second time it's slower. They should have that as well.
Yes.
That would be cool.
I need it.
I think we win then too, though. I think we're winning all 3 games. I'm going to go all wins again. I'm going to keep saying it until we go on another win streak for a while. That's what I'm going to do.
I think we win against the Senators. I think we should, theoretically, all things considered, should definitely win against San Jose.
So, yeah.
Which means we're going to lose. But I would really hope that we win.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I say loss. I say OT loss. Sorry, friends. I say win against the Senators. What's the Senators' record right now? They're
right under us. They have 45 points. I know that much.
41-18-3. They're 5th in the Atlantic. The Atlantic is buzzing this year, y'all. 21-18-3. So they're not too far off from us. I say we win. I say a good 3-1. Just gonna take it. San Jose, their record is currently loading. 13-26-6.
San Jose game, I'm going to go wild, and I'm going to say that we're going to have one of those games where a whole bunch of us break through and score, and we're going to win 7-2.
Ooh, big score. They just beat Tampa Bay last week.
They have Celebrini and Smith, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just played against Utah on Friday, maybe? Thursday? Wednesday? Last week. And Josh Doan got called up from Roadrunners. So Josh Doan played against Celebrini and Smith.
Oh, so he was called up for, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I love anytime these like young superstars get to play against each other, which I know most people don't consider Doan a superstar, but listen.
It's entertaining.
Generational talent there. Kid is great. But Utah won that game. I don't remember who scored. I don't think Donor scored. But Celebrini is like on one. Oh, Schmaltz and Hayton scored. Celebrini has been great. I love watching him play.
Yeah, he's fun. It's a lot different. He's a lot different than Bedard, personality-wise,
Yes.
which I think is kind of just funny. But I do think it has to do with how much speculation was on Bedard versus Celebrini. Celebrini kind of got to cruise for a little bit, so he can kind of not be under a microscope 24/7. But you wish all the rookies could kind of just be like that and not have.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he feels pressure and everything, but
yeah. Celebrini has played 33 games. He has 29 points.
It's not bad.
He and Will Smith are also super funny. I love that they got to do their rookie year together.
Mm-hmm.
I love like what this has become for them. I think it's really cool because it's not something, I think it is something like you're saying, it's the opposite of what Connor Bedard got last year. He got brought in as a really young kid on a team with like, I mean, as much as we hate the Blackhawks, like they do have some, how do I want to phrase this? They have some guys that have been in the league a long time, and there is knowledge there that could potentially be passed down to players like Bedard that I think isn't just because of the organization, just because of some of those players aren't really like mentor players. Also, Maroon wasn't there last year. I wish Maroon had been there last year for Connor Bedard's first year, because I think that would have created such a big difference. Or a player like Maroon that could have been more of a mentor, like Celebrini and Smith are getting with Thornton, even though he's not on the ice. He still is around to mentor them. I wish Connor Bedard had something like that. I think it would have made a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I know he had Fliggy.
Yeah.
But Fliggy at that point kind of had everyone to handle with, because he's a dad energy all the time. So,
and I think like that team, they just have like that organization is just going through such a rough whatever the past few years. I think like a different atmosphere could have made such a big difference for Bedard. He's still great. He's still all the credit to him. He's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish he had something like Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini are getting this year to like do it together and like not have to be a really young player in this really established organization by themselves.
Yeah.
What a week. What a week last week. What a week next week.
Yep.
Yeah. The game will be at 1 on Monday, and then we'll be back. We will be back, friends.
Yeah. Send us your game predictions on our Twitter or Instagram.
I want to hear them because they're probably better than mine this week, y'all. I got woken up by a 6-year-old today. Love her so much. Not my kid. Love her so much. She's my niece for all intents and purposes. And woke up to say goodbye to her this morning at 6 a.m. because I love her.
She probably loved it.
She did, but now I'm exhausted. It was her first, I'll tell the story really quick. We went to an SPHL game yesterday. It was her first hockey game. I created a terror. It's really bad. Their mascot is like a eagle or something, so it's still, I think, in the car. I haven't taken it out yet. So her and I have matching mascot plushies now, and she's really excited. She wants to go to a game again, but only if Auntie M and my husband, Uncle Scotty, can come. So there is our little...
What are those little things?
They're like little eagles or something. They're based off of like...
They have glasses on?
They have glasses. So it's in Pensacola, and that's where the Blue Angels are. So they have like Blue Angels sweatshirts. and little like aviator goggles for the Blue Angels. So that's Maverick in his Blue Angels gear, and we have twin Mavericks that fought each other all game, because that's what hockey players do, is they get checked into the boards and fight. So our little plushies had to fight. That was not my decision. That was a 6-year-old's decision. Take it up.
I also have a fun little story because I want to call out my mom. Because if no one knows, my mom is what made this monster that is myself as a hockey fan. And her favorite player still, even though she's retired.
I saw the photo.
And if you know my mom has no problem talking. My mom can talk to a brick wall and like have a blast and just keep talking. But when it comes to Ray Bourque, this woman like shuts down, and I'm like, now you know how it feels. It's not easy. So really funny story. We ended up meeting this really nice guy who was sitting near us at the game, turns out. And then since we're from here, how many times can you go outside during intermission and eat your pretzel in warm weather? Warm for me, for us, because we were, we're freezing down here. So, or up here rather. Sorry, up here we're freezing.
All of the things.
Yeah. So long story short, this guy had won this trip with Ray Bourque to go down to Sunrise to golf and then go to the game. He had won it at the captain's ball that they do. Heat Frady's organization and everything. And Bourque's really involved with that. So he ended up seeing us, like, we ran into this guy, this random winner guy, at our hotel in the elevator and was like, go Bruins. Then saw him at the trash. And then we had a couple friends that we were meeting up with at the game anyways.
Yeah.
We went to this restaurant. Lo and behold, Ray Bourque is in the bar of this restaurant. So as we're walking out, now I see Ray Bourque, but I'm like not going to tell my mom, oh, hey, he's right there. So we're just like walking out. But then my mom is like, sees him naturally. And then is like, do you know who that just is? So our friends and I were going to go back in anyways to be like, girl, like, just go say hi. Like, you met him back in September. Go say hi again, whatever. So, but anyways, the guy was running out too. He was like, no, he was like, cut the BS, like, get in here. Like,
that's so funny. Did she have on her jersey?
She sure did. So
amazing.
He was like all excited, and got up. They chatted for a little. It was really awesome because usually my mom's the one watching like me or my friends.
Yeah.
Our favorite players. So it was really cool. Everyone knows this, but Ray Bourque is a great guy. So it was naturally a really good time. Did
he sign her jersey?
So that's my fault. I should have brought a Sharpie, like just in general. Like
always be prepared.
Right. Like I should have just brought one. I didn't even have one on the trip. Like I had, so no. That's our next thing. But it was great. I'm sure that she just keeps showing me the picture over and over. I'm like, yes, I know. I see the picture. But
you should print it out and frame it for her.
I really should. Maybe that'll.
I'm sure she's listening right now.
I know.
Don't listen. That didn't happen. You didn't hear that.
Yeah, you're definitely not getting that framed as a present one day.
No, never. Not for Valentine's Day. Not for Mother's Day. Not for your birthday. It's never happening. Don't ask.
No. But so that was really cool though, and we keep joking. We're like, this was actually your trip. Like, it was really a mom's trip because Brenda went and Brenda had like the best time ever. I mean, obviously, I had a great time too. Duh.
Yes.
However, it's like next level for her. So that was like really awesome. And I was like, I was shaking and I was red during it. And she was like killing it, talking. And I was like, yes. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh. So,
that's so fun.
But yeah, so that was our big story from our trip down there.
That's funny.
I had to expose her there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To follow up on the Macklin Celebrini thing really quick before we get off. I just saw a tweet that says most points by a rookie this season. Lane Hudson has 32 points. I never know how to say his first name. Matvey Michkov has 30 points. Macklin Celebrini has 29 points. And games played among the top three. Lane has 42. Michkov has 41. Macklin has 33. They all went to BU together.
BU and BC. And Harvard, Providence. Come here for college, people.
Listen.
And then in the NHL.
Something about those Boston Waters, man.
Right.
Cool. Anything else? That's really cool about your mom, though. That's so fun.
Last thing I want to say is that we're going to win all the games.
Looks like one moment. One more. Just got to say it. Get the energy out there. I love it. That's great.
Yep. And yeah, that's really all I have to say to end it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Go Bruins. All right. So we will be back next Monday at 7:00. You can find the podcast at Causeway Chirps on Twitter and Instagram. We do have shirts and hoodies available. Hey, wait, shout out. We got to shout out Steven, who bought some sweatshirts.
Period.
Steven, this Steven man bought 4 shirts and 4 sweatshirts. So thank you to Steven for supporting us. That's really cool and really awesome. And we appreciate it. Yay. Us. We do have t-shirts and sweatshirts available on our website, bsen617.square.site with our cute little logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
Face is just our logo. Y'all don't want our faces, trust. You can find BSCN, our network, on Twitter and Instagram at BSCN_617. You can find me at HyperEmmy, and you can find Liv
at Front Frederick on Twitter.
Pointing the wrong way.
I know. I always forget it's mirrored, so I'm always doing the wrong. Or no, it is. No, whatever. I get confused.
We're just girls with a podcast, okay?
Yep.
We'll be back next Monday, 7:00. Go Bruins. See y'all then.
What happens after a Boston Bruin win as Jeremy Swayman and Lena Zolmark have their trademark celebration.